My background is with a broadcast journalism degree from the Newhouse School of Communications at Syracuse University. So journalism will always mean something to me. It is the bedrock, the foundation of my education, of my career. Now, I am under no delusions that what I do is journalism every day. The way I approach my show is to try to show you the facts and then give you my opinion on the facts. That's the way my brain works when I present a story. If you listen to my radio show, watch this YouTube show, watch any of the YouTube clips on this channel, you will see me usually present the facts, what happened, the events, the situation, the names, the personalities, and then say, and here's my take on things. I am not one to be digging into research and getting quotes and providing something as a two-dimensional object. I also add my opinion and, of course, character and personality and wackiness, etc., as the entertainment value to it. But I really feel strongly that the journalism part of what we do in sports media and who we are as consumers of sports media is vital. And those things are going away because they just don't make as much money as the entertainment part of it does anymore. And as newspapers have been stripped to the bone, and as local news has been stripped to the bone, and as some radio stations have been stripped down to the bone, you will routinely get less and less and less and less journalism because there's less resources to dedicate to the stuff that doesn't move the needle, right? The stuff that takes a long time, the stuff that takes work, the stuff that isn't splashy, catch ya, get your attention. But it is of extreme importance that we look for that in sports media, that we still value that in sports media. And Pablo Torre is a good example of this. Pablo has a podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. He has a bedrock of journalism behind what he does. He worked as a fact checker for Sports Illustrated. He was a writer for Sports Illustrated. So he is one of those in the weeds guys with facts and double checking resources and all these types of things that you need to do to make sure you get the story right. He also, of course, colors lots of what he does with personality, because in today's day and age, you have to do a little bit of that to bring you in for some of the boring stuff as well. Well, his podcast on the NFLPA and the collusion case made major waves over the last couple of weeks, but wouldn't amount to anything. Well, this week we see two members of the NFLPA both resign. And this is very significant, okay? This is very significant because these guys would not have done this unless Pablo Torre did his job. And Lloyd Howell and J.C. Tretter were at the top of a players' association that got a very favorable amount of evidence that the NFL owners were colluding to keep down guaranteed contracts after Deshaun Watson's deal. And they didn't tell their constituency. They did not tell the union. They wanted it to go away. They wanted it to go away because there was too much internally that they didn't want out, that they didn't do, or they did do on the Players Association side of things as leaders. And they thought, you know what? We're not even going to tell our union, the players themselves, about what was dug up, about what the owners said or did not say, about what we found as evidence to collusion. We won't even let them know about this because we don't want the other stuff that was found out about us to be made public to them. So they hid. They hid their information from their constituents. And now, once Pablo Torre and Mike Florio dug into this and exposed what the union didn't even know, what the players didn't even know, the rank and file didn't even know, suddenly the heat was so hot on these two guys, they had to bounce. This is not just about, as a consumer, caring about sports journalism or journalism in general. This is about, as employees, as citizens, caring that somebody is digging to uncover what you may need to know. And I think about all those players in the NFL that should have always known the ugliness of what the NFL owners tried to do and tried to manipulate, or at least would want to know, right? I mean, if you were part of a union, you would want to know that your CEOs or your owners of your company were trying to hide or do this or do that. You'd want to at least know that if that was dug up. Their own union wasn't going to tell them unless Pablo Torre and his bank of fact checkers and journalists, et cetera, to put together a podcast, dug and dug deep. And Mike Florio confirmed it dug deep. It's amazing. These two guys would still be at the head of this union. These two guys would be swimming fine. These two guys would be working hand in hand. These two guys would be making sure the people in power stay in power because you know what is more comfortable at the top and we don't need any of the heat. So you know what? We don't want them knowing anything about this. Our own constituents who pay our salaries as the Players Association union leaders. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes. It takes somebody to do the dirty work. And if you listen to this podcast, it's dense. It's deep. And I listened to it and I was like, there's a lot here, a lot of moving parts. This is a lot to digest. And probably a lot of people tune out after 7 minutes of this. But it's so valuable. And it was so valuable that those two guys got pushed out, forced to resign because the heat got too hot. And they deserve to get pushed out because they didn't do right by their own constituents who they are employed to protect. And thankfully, the players got the real story to then make a decision about better leadership and not a lot of, boys club slapping each other on the back, making sure those in power stay in power. Yikes.